twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the path.
Here we go. We're live right here on the Freedom Network. I am Gary, sitting here with Jim.
How's it going, Gary?
What's up, Jim?
Thanks for having me
Thanks
back,
for
brother.
being a continued co-host. I think you might be getting a co-host status here. You might be reaching that status.
I'll take it.
You know, I'm still looking for that email to come back because I'm telling you,
Yeah, I don't believe it.
It
At
really
this
did
point, I
exist.
don't believe it.
No, I think I'll find it somehow here.
Talking about it over and over doesn't make it true.
I'll put a poll maybe on Facebook.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
I think they would take you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh
What
yeah.
are you gonna do if they don't?
Well, I'm
Too
gonna
bad.
do what I always do, what I want. I'm gonna keep you anyway. What do I care? Hey, all topics on the table tonight, local to global, whatever you want to talk about. Constitution for Freedom. We'll get you in on the email, the phone number that is right there on your telephone. Easy dial 508. It's not on your telephone. It's actually on your screen.
It is.
508-266-0990 gets you right on in. That's like the radio days, saying it like that. When you do the radio, you know, you constantly repeat the number, but it's television. The
So
number's
they can
right
see
there.
it, so you don't have to.
I don't have to
continue
say that.
It's okay, though.
But I do invite you to certainly call in any topic, whatever you want to do. First of all, before we move anywhere, we talked earlier in the day, Red Sox.
Yes.
I mean, come on, huh?
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 I'm actually starting to be a believer now, too.
You are?
Yeah.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, being older and not a high school kid, they just think all Boston sports teams win all the time, or at least get to the final, or maybe the last game before the final. But there's no way we're not making it there.
Right.
So,
yeah. Just commonplace for them.
yeah, I think it is. But wow, way to go with the Red Sox. I mean, they just, at the end
Put
it
a
was pretty
shellacking
hairy.
on the Yankees.
Pretty hairy there for a little bit towards the end. But
Of that last game? Oh,
yeah,
it got a little scary.
yeah, and the game before. But the Red Sox. So I understand that when people say, "Well, we gotta," because they peak better than anybody, but they also do hit the
Sure.
low end of it sometimes. But look, they're a Boston team, a New England team. I'm going to support them. I have a good friend of mine. I won't talk about him by name because I don't know if he's out there. If I knew he was out there, I'd call him right out. But I don't know if he's out there. But he is a Buffalo Bills fan. But yet he likes the Bruins, and he likes the Red Sox, and he likes the Celtics. But he likes the Bills. It's insanity. It'd be another good question. Do you support all your local teams? I think you should.
I do. I don't think you have to, but it certainly.
Well, no, there's no
It certainly makes
requirement.
sense to. I mean, from childhood, you're brought into these are your teams, and
Well, the thing, his Guy's father, diehard Patriots fan.
Yeah.
Guy's father was a diehard Patriots fan.
I found myself a bit of a Miami Dolphin fan in my youth because but it was really more of I loved Dan Marino.
Yeah.
I thought he was just phenomenal, and so I kind of followed. I mean, listen, when they were facing the Patriots, was I feeling myself rooting for the Patriots? Absolutely, I was. But
Yes.
I wanted Dan
I would
to do
agree.
well.
I always liked Houston. I mean, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
really?
No, not Houston. I mean, here I am. I'm thinking Texas. But by the way, speaking of down, in the Gulf, what about the hurricane?
Yeah, right.
Have you seen the reports?
Well, it's like it got to a Category 4, didn't it?
It was 2 miles an hour right here, below a Category 5.
Wow.
I mean, I hope the people there just stay safe. Just stay safe. Just stay safe, because that has already killed people, by the way, in its path, coming in. Sad situation, very sad. Dallas is what I meant. I just,
You were a Cowboys fan?
Kind of America's team thing.
Really? You
You
bought into all that.
I don't mind if they win and they're not playing us.
Still to
Let me
this
put it
day,
that-
is that what
yeah,
you're telling?
still
Huh?
to this day. If they,
Really?
if they win, as long as we're winning, because if we're playing them, there's
Sure.
a game between the two. I'm all Pats all the time.
Right,
I don't want it to be close. I don't want them to even score anything. I let's shut them out and kill them. Right.
I wouldn't have figured you for a Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't know why.
I just, I get into all that, I guess. But they're probably on their knees too, right? Are they part of the kneeling?
Yeah, I
thing?
think they were. Yeah, they were a big.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've taken less and less interest in the NFL. My interest is really narrowed down to the Patriots, just because I really like sports. I like sports. I like to watch them, the competitive nature of them. I think a lot of people do. And I think a lot of people are, in all honesty, a little bit perplexed. They don't know what to do because you want to watch,
Sure.
but you don't support some of the politics that they've gotten into. They should just leave the politics away. How's that? Just don't get into the politics. I don't know. What do I know? Look it. I
You know
get
you
this
don't want 'em in the
picture sent to
politics.
me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring it up here, and I want your feeling on it. I get sent this from a good friend, and he writes on it, it's a receipt from a restaurant.
Yeah.
And the restaurant is New England Steak and Seafood. And which happened...
Which is in Mendon, I believe.
Yeah, it's in Mendon, and I've happened to have several really good meals there, to be honest with you. I really have. I haven't been there 100 times, so I couldn't be a spokesperson for it.
Sure.
But I've been there, I don't know, under a half dozen times. Maybe 3-4 times, something like that. And it's been good.
But you've
when
always
I've
had
been there.
decent success. When
Yeah,
you're
I have. I've had good success with the place. I really have. It could use a makeover, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the food that comes out of that kitchen is good.
Right.
I really do.
Right.
It's tough to get a nice steak around. Anyway, the reason I'm telling you this, that I'm, bring this up is that his message to me was, town tax question
Down
mark.
tax. Yeah.
And what it is at the bottom is it's a subtotal, and then a meal and beverage tax, and then a town tax, and then a sales tax total,
Okay.
which brings the total of all the taxes from $4.26 to $4.77, adding 51 cents.
So the town directly is getting 51 cents out of it.
51 cents they are getting out of the bill. So my reply to him was, this actually is in a lot of towns. It's right here in Northbridge. I don't know if it's in your town. I'd like to know. Send me a message. But I also told him it doesn't have to be listed like that. I believe that within that ability, the town can, or the restaurant, can lump in the taxes into one tax.
Okay.
So tax.
Just
Whereas these guys are breaking it down, which I think is fantastic.
Yeah.
Because at least they're telling you,
Yeah.
hey, this meal is 51 cents more expensive, not because of me,
Yeah.
but because of the town.
Right.
So we have one. I don't know. What is ours? What
The
was ours?
percentage?
Yeah, I think it was 1%.
Okay.
No, was it? Who?
Point something.
0.75. So
Okay.
0.75. So you
0.75.
go out in Northbridge and you get food, you're paying 0.75 more on top of it.
Okay.
What do you think about
Which
that?
is what, 75
He's beside
cents per $100.
He's beside himself. I'm going to see him later tonight, and I know what we'll be talking about. But
Well, that sounds like a deal to me. It's less than
You
a cup
know?
of coffee every time you go out to eat.
right,
Yeah.
I mean, how many cups of coffee can we have? And this is why when
That's
you start
only a half a
talking
cup of
about
coffee.
yeah, right.
If you're going to Cumberland Farms.
If you're going to Cumberland Farms, it's 3/4 of a coffee, right? It's a buck there, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is why when people want to raise taxes, people say no, 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 no. They get upset, and then the other side comes in and says, yeah, but it's for the kids, and it's for this, and it's for that. But everything is for the kids, for this and that. And we're already buying how many cups of coffee a day? How many cups of coffee a day are we buying?
I buy 2,
At-
generally.
At what point do you say, it's enough? This is baloney.
Right.
I'm not doing this.
Exactly. Agreed.
I don't-
So now this town tax, this town meal tax, I guess is what we're calling it,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Does it get applied to something specific, or is it going to a general fund like everything
Actually,
else
I think
goes
that
to?
ours in this town, if I remember correctly, please correct me if I'm wrong. We have the Freedom Network fact checking
Checkers,
team
yeah.
always watching what I say because you never know what I'm going to say.
Yeah, yeah.
No, but they, I think that it's earmarked toward unfunded liability.
Okay.
So like retirement packages, isn't it?
Oh, really? See, when you said that,
Yeah.
I thought maybe you were talking about, things that the state's mandating, but they're not funding.
It's for retiree health insurance.
It's for retiree health insurance.
Okay.
Which is something that you got to pay for because we signed the contracts. The debate isn't now, right? The debate is when you sign the contracts and you
Right.
give the stuff away that you don't have the money for.
Right.
Why the town would do that, I don't understand. Why would any selectman or finance committee person or anything? Well, then the answer is, well, but if you don't, then you're going to get this, and if you don't pay this, then you'll get this, and if you don't offer this, you're not going to get good leadership. So I always just turn around and ask the question, do you think we have good leadership? With all that we're spending and all that we're giving,
Right.
right? and whether you want to go into any area of the entire town government, do you feel the leadership is worth the contract? And if you don't, then you really got to
do
start to
selectmen
elect new
get paid?
people. Selectmen get paid a very small amount.
Oh.
Maybe it's $1,000 a year or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
So
very
maybe
little.
we could get better selectmen if we pay them more? Is that what we're saying?
I guess that's what they're saying.
I mean, I mean, you know,
Maybe we could pay.
you get what you pay for.
Well, what if? I mean, is that a standard rate? So what if you paid $2,000? You double the thing. You must get double the
Oh,
selectmen,
yeah,
right?
Right,
Double the quality.
right.
Man, you can't make this stuff up. A town tax on food to pay for something that you agreed to pay, that you had no money to pay. You
Right.
never knew if you were going to have the money to pay it. Now you got to pay it. You don't have the money.
Well,
you
'cause
tax
knew,
the people. a
Well,
little
you
more.
knew you were going to figure out ways to do it through taxes. Yeah.
Exactly. So this is where people get nuts on things like let's build a new school.
Now, did this town did they get to vote? Like, did you get to go vote on whether or
Yeah,
not
we
you wanted
voted on
a
this thing.
town tax or no town tax on
Yeah,
meals?
we voted on this. Yeah. Oh yeah, we did. Oh yeah, we sure did.
So they
we-
can't. So this town can't get an override, but it can get a town tax.
Yes, to my knowledge, if I'm not mistaken, and again, we'll find out if I am, but I think that we voted on this, and I think that we voted to have it, and I think it was sold on the fact of ethics, and we have to do what we have to do. The thing is, though, is that this, to my understanding, is a drop in the bucket and doesn't even cover it. It's just a piece. So
I
now
see.
that it's there,
Yeah.
you will see that in a year where they're not trying to build a new school, not trying to pass a debt exclusion for a new building, and not trying to do an override, which is very few years, but there will be a year where they'll pause all that other stuff,
Yeah.
and they'll throw that up to 1%.
Well, 1.25 or something.
I think
right?
even just 1%. They're probably already talking about it now. You guys are already talking about it. You must have. You know they are, right? You know that there's no tax that goes down.
Yeah. Well, if it's not enough money in the first place to cover what they've agreed to, then yeah, I guess they would have no choice but to.
I'll see if my taxes really went down when I file my taxes this year.
Sure.
Because a lot of people are telling me that are very in the know that actually people are going to get hurt when they file their taxes. You either won't be getting as much back, you may not be getting anything back
Because of deductions.
because of
lack
this
of-
tax
lack
cut
of-
plan.
Right.
And the thing that gets me about the tax cut plan is everybody was ready to roll over and just get giddy because somebody said, here, we're taking between all the taxes you pay and all the fees that you pay and every embedded bit of tax you pay on everything, if you add everything up, you are close to, at a normal average person, you're close to 50%. Some might be 42, some might be 48. It really depends.
Sure.
But we're getting close to that. Hey, I'm just Joe regular guy, and it's costing me almost half. And you got to add in everything.
Right.
When
No,
you
no,
do
right.
that, you got any gas
Right.
taxes
License
and your
fees,
license
blah, blah, blah,
fees,
everything,
absolutely,
right.
everything.
Right.
So when you do that, you see that you're approaching that 50% mark. And again, speaks right back to the point that we started to talk about, which is this is why people say no. They don't say no because they think that the schools that we have are in great shape and we don't need them, for
Right,
example.
right.
They don't say no because of that. They don't. I think that people are fed up. And that's why I think that it's, it's one after the other. If you look at the last 5 times you were able to vote in your local town election, how many of those included a way or a mechanism for you to pay more money to the government? So you're being asked this every time, over and over, all the time. Eventually you run out of money for the coffee. Eventually the coffee can't be bought.
Right. I have no choice but to not buy coffee.
Eventually someone says, Jim, go buy your own damn coffee.
Right.
I can't
Just
afford
make
the
it at
coffee.
home.
Yeah, I
Grow,
just can't
grow
do it.
some tobacco. No, that'd be cigarettes.
Yeah, don't grow tobacco
No.
in it. That would be disgusting, actually. I don't even drink
Coffee
coffee.
beans is what I meant
I
to say.
did have a little coffee today, but I don't drink coffee normally. I don't know. What do you want?
I love coffee.
You do. How many
big
coffees
time.
do you drink a day?
I drink a couple at home, make a pot every morning, and then at least one throughout my day of iced
do?
coffee, maybe 2. Yeah.
Now, do you have
Always
a time?
Cumberland Farms, though.
I was with somebody today that was
Yeah.
having a cup of coffee, and they said, "Wait, what time is it?" The person, the waitress came over, and we were in a thing, it was like a party thing, and she looked at her watch like this. She says, "Wait, what time is it?" And so afterwards, the woman said it was 2:30 or whatever it was,
Right.
2:45, and the person walked away, the server walked away, and I said, "What what was all that about with the time?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't drink coffee after 3 o'clock. I'm
Oh,
like,
really?
oh, so there's a. You guys with the coffees, man.
See,
You
but
gotta
no,
get the
I'll
coffees.
drink. I'll drink it
Get the
anytime.
coffee.
I'll drink it anytime, and I don't have like a set time where I need to get one. But I will tell you that my body starts telling me that it wants one
Yeah.
around 2 o'clock every afternoon.
It does.
Yeah.
Question 2. There's been a lot of talk about it, Jim.
Which one's that?
That's the nurse one, I believe.
That's no. The question one's
yeah,
the nurse one.
the nurse one, right? Yeah,
Okay.
the nurse one. Actually, we were talking about all of them last week.
Right. We
I'm-
touched on them.
This nurse thing has got me. I don't know what to do. I know what I think I'm leaning toward, which is no.
All right.
I'm leaning no,
Right.
and I'm leaning no because the reason I'm not totally no is because the people that run the hospitals
Right.
want you to vote no.
Want you to vote yes.
I think they want me to vote no,
Oh.
and I can't understand why I would side
I
with
see
them.
why you would side that. Yeah.
Then you've got what looks to me like about 50-60% of the 50, it's almost 50-50 to me.
Sure.
When I go on Facebook and I say, what do you think about this? I get a lot of no's, but then the yeses start coming too. And when I count them up, it's 60-40, it's 45-55, whatever it is. And then what happens is I see an ad on TV. And it says 82% of nurses
Yeah, right. It said it
feel
right
this
in the,
way.
it said it right in the booklet that
Yeah.
it was 82%.
And then you'll see that 82% feel this way. So how can it be both ways? See, to me, this is so misleading. It's so wrong that I want the data. I want to know where the number comes from when they say a majority, because a majority cannot think two ways. A majority would clearly indicate that they think one way. So one of these camps is not being true, or they
Right.
took and went a 200 sampling. They could have done that. I don't have the cup. I forgot to get the cup.
We'll have a few of them to give away to the fans out there soon, right?
Yes.
We
Yes.
touched on that last week. If
We
you
did.
weren't listening last week,
Yeah. Go ahead.
we're going to have 6 of those Freedom Network mugs that Gary has all the time, but I don't even have one myself. So I'll probably get 7 of them and give away 6.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute here.
I mean, I do have a birthday coming up,
What are
just
you,
saying.
working government? Well, we had 7, but now we have 6.
Right.
I don't know. Slurp.
And we're going to put a little pocket constitution in these cups.
Yes.
And I'm going to have a question once a week for 6 weeks to find out what the audience knows about Gary Rosenberg. And we're still formulating all those questions. And, we'll probably start it right around Thanksgiving time, right?
Yeah. I would say right after, maybe the show after when we kick into that holiday season, because that's the giving season.
Sure.
And you want to give.
I want to give. Answer the
So-
question right. First person either call, email, or text Gary, however it's done.
However it gets to us,
We'll,
we'll timestamp everything.
yeah, exactly.
Be very cool. Very cool. And then I think what we're going to do is we're going to start, I was thinking, you'll love this idea, is a where is Waldo kind of thing, where
I love Where's
people
Waldo.
take the cup and they bring it to different places.
Love
And they
that.
take pictures of it and post it on the Freedom Network group.
I love that idea.
Wouldn't that be great? Maybe
Yeah.
we can get someone that was, by the Empire, the Empire State Building or the Statue of Liberty
Sure.
or something, and they just put it up and just take the picture of it. I think that would be fantastic. So I'm eager to get this going, and we'll get it going, towards the end of November, I guess.
Right.
I don't know.
How
but
long did it take the original to be made? Do you know?
I don't know. It was a gift.
Right.
So
I
I
know it
don't
was.
know. They could have ordered
I know
that
who-
thing.
I know
You
who
gotta talk
gifted that to you,
Yeah, you got to
so-
talk to
The gifter.
to the gifter.
Right. I will.
He's in your
Immediately.
car once in a while.
That's why I brought it. That's true. That's why I brought it up last week, to force me, because I've been thinking about it for a while. So I wanted to
So you
force
wanna-
myself
you wanna
to have
force
to do
yourself
it.
to have
Can't
to
say
do
it
it.
on TV and then not do it, right?
Correct. And
I wanna
I'm
be
working
called
on
out
the
for that.
constitutions. By the way.
Which one of these cameras is the one I'm supposed to look at if I'm talking to the crowd?
Well, it would really depend. I mean, the one with the red light
Yeah.
is the one that's on.
Okay. See,
that?
but now it doesn't look like there it is.
Yeah, it
That
is.
could be that one. See, that's my own.
No, listen. Let me explain
my
this to you.
own.
Let me explain this to you. All
All
right.
right.
Let me explain this to you. If I want to talk to the people, I go like this,
Right.
and I talk to the people,
Right.
and I'm looking. See where I'm looking?
Right.
You look over there.
Well-
I want you to look at the TV.
Yeah.
Right.
I was looking at it.
Right. No,
Right.
look at. But see how I'm talking to the people. When I
Right.
look like this, like you do, to look at the TV,
Yeah.
I'm no longer looking
I
at
know.
the people,
I get it.
and it freaks you out.
But
Would
when
you
I
rather
was,
me shut that off?
But when no, it's fine. I'm fine with it. But when I was talking directly to the people, I was also looking at the TV, which you can see right now is not where I should have been looking.
Yeah. No, you should be looking at the
Now
red
I
light.
know.
You
Now
want
I
to
know.
look at the red
I
light.
needed to learn that.
Follow the light, Jim. Always follow the light. So if you're a nurse, call in, email me. I got to understand this. You got to give me more information, and time's running out. Right now, I'm probably leaning no. I just don't like the idea of more government being involved in anything, and to me, I do see a little bit of that here. So that slants me to no.
Especially since they're not going to fund it. They're just going to regulate it.
They're just
and
going
make
to
you do
regulate it. You know, they're
By
just
the way,
going to
you
regulate
have to do this.
it. Right.
But we're not going to, you know.
We'll talk about, if we get to it, Trump did talk about that.
Last night.
Medical industry, which was good. He had a couple of goods, a couple of bads. Like I say, you know, it's Trump. What are you going to do? There's some good, there's some bad. Did you hear Sears Holding Corporation? Sears, as we all know, Sears, is preparing to file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in the coming days.
Nice. I win. I win, Gary. It took a long time, but I win. You want to know why before you go into it?
You know, and that's what I got. That's all. I don't have much more on it, but if I so want to know why you win.
20 years ago.
20 years ago. Oh, God.
20 years ago, I was
You do that, I'll
forced.
read the email.
20 years ago, I was forced to boycott Sears because I purchased it was a gas stove,
Yeah.
and 3 months later, I still didn't have it. With conversation after conversation after conversation with them, and then ultimately, I said, you know what? Forget it. I want my money back. And they charged me a restocking fee and did not give me my entire amount back.
Ooh, the restocking fee is one of the most dreaded. It's
But it
right
was-
up there with the meal tax.
But it was like, listen, I literally tried for a solid 3 months to get this stove
get it
that I
back.
purchased from them, and it never got delivered or installed because I was paying for a delivery and installation because it was a gas stove.
Wow.
And yeah, so I was forced to boycott them, and it finally came through. There you go. That's what you get.
Unbelievable.
But no, go ahead,
Don't
read
take
your
care of Jim. Don't take care of Jim. No, I
Power
was.
of the boycott.
Pam was just checking in to let me know that she's out there. She's not around, so she's not at steak night up at the pub. The Valley Pub does steak night on Wednesday nights. Dom, you know, I got to be honest with you. Rob, the guy that has made that place from just a bar room on the side of the road to a
Sure.
real destination, serving food that's decent food. It absolutely is. I can't deny it. I get appetizers and stuff there. It's good.
Yeah.
Had a burger there. It was good. He's now doing steak nights. Steak nights.
Steak night.
And then when is it? It's on Wednesday, right now.
It's competing with our home
So
bar
you know
for
what I
food.
had to do today is I had to go. Well, my wife, God bless my wife, went out and bought some steak. So when I leave here, I'm not going to be talking baloney in the parking lot. I'm
Right.
going home and I'm cooking a steak
You can't give me a couple
because I'm going to
minutes?
miss steak night. They don't have endless supply.
I see.
So I don't know. I would like to move steak night over at the Valley Pub. I would want
Well,
to get a petition going.
I will tell you, that once you get over 50,
Yeah,
it is okay to eat like 4:30, 5 o'clock dinner
yeah.
instead of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
And
you
right now you can't. You're
I
not even
can't do
allowed
that.
to. You're not even allowed to go.
It's going to
early
take a
bird.
couple more birthdays.
No
early
early
bird
bird for
me yet.
you. But once you get there, then you can go before the show on Wednesdays and have your steak.
Oh, that would be great.
There you go.
That would be great. Get one of the first ones out. I think they sell out of it all the time.
I bet they do.
Well, Pam tells me that they're really delicious, so I want to go over there and I want to have one.
Uh huh.
But I'm here.
Okay.
Then I thought we could take the show there. I would love to take the show there. I wish we had the ability to go live from there, but maybe. I don't know how I could even record it there because I'm here doing this live. Unless I don't do a live
Then
show
I
to
really
go
have to
record.
wonder what's in your Freedom Network cup.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please. That cup is full of water, my friend. Not all cups, but that cup is always full of water. So Sears is going out. Well, they're going to go Chapter 11,
Yeah.
cast doubt on the survival of this was one time the world's largest, says it right here, world's largest retailer at one time. Not anymore. Not even by a long shot. But
Not
at one
even
time,
close.
they were number one.
Right.
Top of the world.
For a long time.
Well, that's
too.
why people say that to me all the time, and I say, someday Walmart will run into struggles. All of them will run into struggles because, look, go back. X amount of time, what was here, what's going, remember Woolworths?
Oh, yeah.
How could
Yeah.
Woolworths ever not be in business? Remember,
Right.
what was that other one?
Leechmere.
Leechmere.
I knew what you were
That's
thinking. as
exactly
soon
what
as
I
you
was thinking of,
Right,
right out of my
Leechmere,
head.
boom.
Leechmere, and the other one.
Zaire was like almost
yeah.
like a spin-off, like
Zaire,
a cheap
yeah.
spin-off of
And what about service merchandise?
service merchandise.
Remember that place?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
crazy. It really is crazy.
Yeah.
So Joe Biden
That's
says he's
something
going
I'd
to.
forgotten about.
Yeah.
Service merchandise.
So, great place. You could go there and just wander around for hours.
Yeah, right.
You go hang out there. When you couldn't really go hang out anywhere else, but you'd be able to go to a store
Yeah.
or something like
Sure,
that. That's
yeah,
where you'd go.
yeah.
I'd go. There was one over in Brockton, right off of on 27, right off of 24.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to go up there. We did.
There was a store when I was growing up, and I'll really be dating myself. There might be a couple of listeners out there that know
Here
this
we
place.
go.
But there was a store that was much like well, it was like a very small Sears, but it had all that same stuff.
Okay.
A mini Walmart maybe, and it was called Mammoth Mart.
Mammoth Mart.
Do you recall a Mammoth Mart?
I don't recall ever being in one, but
Yeah.
I do know they used to exist.
I stole a top out of there when I was 5 years old. Showed it to my sister on the ride home.
Yeah.
She immediately told my mother.
Good. Good
My
for
mother
her.
turned the car around,
Yeah.
and I had to bring it back and,
Good.
and apologize for it. And
Good.
that was the one and only theft of my life.
Yes, the one and only.
And I didn't
Note
get
that.
and I didn't get
The
away
one
with
and
it.
only. You didn't have a slip of recidivism back. It's so stupid. That thing was so stupid. I won't even go into that. Joe Biden, run for president. What do you think?
Yeah, more power to him. That's what I think.
Yeah. Do you think Trump gets a challenge from inside the party?
Do you think so?
You think like
I think
Romney or?
No. Romney already tried not to run against him, but tried to snuff him out and couldn't. So
No.
I think that no, it definitely wouldn't be Romney. Do I think there might be someone? I'm not sure who that someone would be, but I don't think they'd fare too well right now.
You think that they would? I think they probably would not fare too well. Now, this is today.
Right.
You don't know.
Listen, if the next 2 years, and I've never been a trumpet or anything that resembled one. In fact, early on when he was running,
Yes.
you
I
were
remember.
touting a lot of the stuff that he had to
Yes.
say, and I
Yes.
was saying, Gary, I'm not feeling
You're
it.
not feeling it.
I'm not feeling like you. Well, I said something else, but
Yeah.
more or less, I wasn't feeling it. And but listen. There's no question he's had a lot of successes.
Yeah.
And if the trend over the next 2 years continues, I honestly believe, not that he would win the popular vote as well as his reelection,
Yeah.
but I think that he'd narrow that gap as well.
Oh, I think he probably would. I mean, at the end of the day, people get into a private situation and they vote, and it always comes down to where was I
Yeah,
and where am I?
right.
And if you're better off, you're generally inclined
Mm-hmm.
to keep going with the same. I mean, and you're right, you don't. I mean, where I agree with Trump on stuff and I, post something on, or send you a message or we talk about it here or elsewhere, and you don't agree all the time. I think you're very much like I am with him. You just issue by issue.
Well, sure.
And I think that's how you should be with every single politician out there, every single politician. But I've lost so much faith, Jim, in the entire government system. And the reason I have is because we've had Democrats and Republicans. They've been in charge for a long time.
Right.
And when you look at things and big issues, real things, and we'll even talk about some of them, we can say the medical industry and the amount of money that you're charged, I can't say it because it's a swear, but blank you, pay me or die attitude of the medical industry. And I'm not talking about the doctor that may work within it, or the nurse, or the guy, I'm talking about the people that run the industry,
Right.
which would include the pharmaceutical companies.
Which a lot of our tax dollars go to develop these drugs in the first place.
Absolutely. Then they're making literally billions of dollars off of them, and they're charging us astronomical rents. We already know the stories of the EpiPen and other things.
Right.
I was put out for my appendix. It took them, I think, 20 or 22 minutes or something like that. The doctor told me afterwards. It was a little foggy afterwards.
Right.
But when I got to review the bill, because my insurance company sends me everything
And
now,
almost itemized. Like,
it is itemized by the anesthesiologist. 22 minutes, $800. $800.
Is that the amount of time you were under? Or
Under.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was under for that amount of time. So let's call it an hour.
Okay.
Because he probably had to be there with me for the beginning,
Right.
and I'm sure he was there at the end to make sure everything was good. So
Yeah.
20 minutes, so triple it,
Let's call it an hour.
I guess. Call it an hour.
Okay.
$800.
Nice.
So it's $800 an hour for that guy to put me out. Now, if that didn't happen, that thing would have burst. I would not be here right now.
All right.
So when people say, well, it's not really like, blank you, pay me or die, I say, well, yes, it is. Because what was my option there?
Have them do it.
And
with
they
you.
don't even tell you what it
Have
is
them
up
use
front.
a general. Have them use a general. Nah, you don't need to be put out, Gary. Don't
Right.
worry about it.
Right.
We'll take care of Pentotel. We'll just give you a little general
When I got my
anesthesia.
wisdom tooth, they wanted to do
Pop
that.
you
I
a
said,
couple
nah,
Tylenol.
I went to a place that would put me out. Forget about it. I'm not dealing with that stuff. Not dealing with it.
Well, I
But
mean, I'm just saying.
we're
you
gonna
probably
talk
did
about
have an
that a little
option.
bit.
Maybe you didn't have to be put
We'll
out.
talk about that a little bit. But just back to the point, the medical industry, the monetary system, which we're also going to talk about a little bit, the endless wars, undeclared, haven't had a legal, constitutionally, legally declared war since World War II.
Which I was surprised. When you posted that long time ago.
Yeah.
And I bet you a lot of them said Vietnam, right? Did you get
A lot
big-
of people said Vietnam.
I thought
a
for
lot
sure
of
it
people
was
said
that.
Vietnam. Some people said the next one was the Gulf War,
Yeah. Okay. Right.
that they thought was, the George Bush
Yeah.
Senior
Yeah.
War.
The first George.
So we got endless wars. We've got a crazy money system. We've got, which is just so insane, with fake inflation and all kinds of things built right into it, that literally control, what you do. Why do you think a house is $500,000? The house ain't worth $500,000. The price is there, and now enter credit. Credit becomes interest on money that doesn't exist. Nobody goes to with a briefcase full of cash to a closing,
Yeah, some probably.
buys it, right? And yeah, some do. And then anyway, so we've got this crazy money system. We've got these endless, undeclared, constitutionally illegal wars. We have a medical industry that's out of absolute control. We have probably one of the most. You can't even call us free with the tax system and tax code that we have, that we
Right.
talked about a little bit before, and how people are paying so much of their money to the government.
Right.
You could continue on. The food supply is absolutely disgusting. Disgusting. That we allow Monsanto and other companies like them to do what they do to the food you eat. That's a whole nother show. When you look at things like the national debt that you are responsible for, when you look at all the money that you are forced to send overseas to support what really amounts to dictators in some cases,
Yeah.
when you look at the country that has gone deeper and deeper into, things like drug addiction and that world, you look at all the stuff that you don't like about America, and then you say to yourself, well, who's been in charge here? Right? Who's been running the show? The Republicans and the Democrats.
Yeah.
And only the Republicans and the Democrats. And in the past 100 years, they've both held the presidency. They've both held each house of Congress and both houses of Congress. They've both appointed Supreme Court justices. And where are we?
Right.
So when people say to me, well, you got to vote for this or you got to do that, it just kind of maddens me a little bit. What is it that you're voting for?
The term lesser of two evils bothers you?
It bothers me immensely because what you're doing by that is you're settling
Yeah.
for evil.
Right.
Just a lesser evil. So you're settling for the evil basically that will kill or hurt or continue to hurt your grand and
slower
great
pace.
grandchildren.
At a slower pace.
But you're going to get by because, hey, you know what? I don't want to really jump in and do anything about it. So I'm going to, bitch and moan about it. And then I'm going to just go vote. I have a friend of mine, John, that always, when I post something, I always say, you got to go vote. Go blank everyone. I'm working on a thing called the James Madison Project. More to come on that in a few weeks. So far, lukewarm. People aren't liking it. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But this is what he says is the funniest thing. I always say, no, you got to vote. Even if you blank it, do whatever you got to do. But don't ever not go. Stand up and be counted. And he always just replies, that's all right, Gary. Just vote harder. It will all work out. Right? And that's what he means is, well, we got this one and she's going to be good, or that one and he's going to be good, and this one's better than that one. And
Right.
But who's been running things? Whether it's your town, your state, your federal government. Who? Republicans and Democrats. Well, where the hell are we? What does the country look like? I say it all the time. What does freedom look like in America? Is it free? Is it constitutional? The answers are no. It's not
No,
constitutional.
Yeah.
So who the hell do I blame?
I would imagine the Republicans and the Democrats.
And the people that enable them. My brother always pointed out to me, and I think it was great. I really think that he always says to me, "I'm not mad at the government. Government's not doing anything that wrong, right?
We're not letting them get away with it.
Exactly." He says it's us. It's the people that allow this baloney to happen. They just allow it to happen. I don't know.
You got an email there? Nothing?
Yeah, I do got an email. Oh, they were happy about the Valley Pub. They like the Valley Pub. All right, here comes one from the Cadillac Man. Hi, Gary. Hi, Jim. That's your first official.
Oh.
That's your first official.
Hello,
Hi,
Cadillac
Gary
Man.
and Jim.
Yeah, hello, Cadillac Man.
Just wanted to say hello, and to let you know that I will be patiently awaiting to see who your candidate is to our challenge. I feel I will be dead before you find one, or before we find one, due to the fact that policing has gone from protecting and serving to revenue collecting. But I do hope for everyone's sake, that you find at least one. Good luck. Well, here, now I got to give you the backstory.
Yeah.
The backstory on that is that we were talking about some video that was out there where cops just were not, in my opinion, doing the right thing.
Sure.
Then those just become opinions. And you don't know all sides of it. So you got to try to explore it, and different facts come out. And as facts comes out, you shape your opinion, whatever. But my comment is always that much like there's an information war on the news, there's also an information war on the social aspect. And there is a clear desire from our government, obviously, and the news to divide the people. They want us divided. It's on purpose that we're divided. And I almost see this as a tool, because you can find 1 million cops punching somebody in the face, but you can't find any cops that are helping people. But yet they do every day.
Right.
So it leads people, in my opinion, to believe that all cops got to be bad, because this is how they are. This is how they act. We had the group that I want to get back on of cops and former cops that wanted to reform the hiring system and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Fascinating show to hear from the police themselves about how a lot of this is wrong, but this is the way we got to fix it. And they're taking that head on, which I think takes a lot of guts. But all police aren't bad. And, you see people, they're behaving this way. And like this group said, now they go out and they shoot cops in Texas because something happened in Arkansas. And it's just stupid. I mean, they're really dividing the people. To me, it's just a tool. So then, excuse me, the Cadillac Man said to me that beyond that instance, he feels that all cops, I think you said all, but I don't know if you did, so you can correct me immediately if I'm wrong, but I think you said all cops are bad because they don't support and defend the Constitution, which they swear to do. Because there are so many, in his perspective, unconstitutional laws. So how can they be protecting the Constitution if they will support an unconstitutional law? So you give me an example of an unconstitutional law. You send me one in.
Well,
come on, Mr. Cadillac. You send me one in while we talk.
I might take that a step further. I might not even entertain that at all, given that I don't believe that police are even legit under the Constitution, that only sheriff's department
Sheriffs.
is.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because what the Cadillac Man said to me was he asked me or challenged me to go out and to find a sheriff that is constitutional.
Okay.
And I said this might be a very hard thing to do because of the fact that there are so many unconstitutional laws on the book. So many of them.
Right.
For example, the wiretapping from the NSA, which is another topic we can get to. A lot of that is very unconstitutional. But yet, if they needed to obtain more information or go talk to you about what they were tapping,
Sure.
they would bring a sheriff because that's how a lot of that stuff works. I think that this is a very touchy subject. I think you get a lot of people that support the police and want to support the police, and I think you have a lot of people that don't support the police and won't support the police. And I think a lot of that is that, again, that 33%. And I think that you've got then again that middle ground, which is usually where the reason comes in. Whereas it's just, first of all, it's scientifically and mathematically impossible for every cop to be a bad cop.
Right.
But when you add on, if you enforce unconstitutional laws, now that takes on a whole new connotation, because now you got to look at each law and put it there for what it is. So I was hoping he would send me what he thinks is an unconstitutional law. I could think of a few. I'm sure you could think of a few, but I want to know what he thinks. So send me, Cadillac Man, what you think an unconstitutional law is, and that's the context that I will go by and see. As a matter of fact, I'll even call some sheriff's departments. I'll do my due diligence.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm going to find one, because the law is a law and they enforce the law.
Right.
But they do take an oath to uphold the Constitution. But I think within that oath also says to uphold the laws of the state. So I think it might be a double edge. So that's where we might get into the gray area.
Right.
But I'm going to try. I'll see. I don't buy that all cops are bad. I don't buy that all cops abuse their power. I don't buy that for a second. Because
But I buy that some do. But I think
Absolutely.
that percentage is really a lot smaller than like the media would try to make it. out
It
to be.
is. You know what it's like? And I say this to people a lot, because many of us, okay, would agree that the news is slanted, that we're fed certain info to make us think certain ways and all that stuff. But then when it comes to this issue, they want to say, no, we're not. These are all the facts that exist. Well, why? I mean, the logic doesn't, in my opinion, follow through. It just doesn't follow through.
Right.
I mean, if there's an information control, and if you believe there's an information control, why would you then believe selective information just because you might agree with it? Which is exactly how they control people, based on this selective information on both sides.
Right.
So you're really just kind of feeding into it. Oh, here we go. I think I got one. Okay, stop and frisk.
Oh.
I'm going to agree with him that is an absolute unconstitutional law. And when I say that and agree with him, it doesn't matter what the Supreme Court may say. Okay? Those are those people and their opinion and interpretation of it.
Sure.
But in no way could you sell to me and make me sleep good and convince me that I'm going to go to bed thinking that you can just be walking down the street and a representative of the state, which is really what a police officer is,
Yeah.
can walk up to me, put me up against a wall, and frisk me.
Frisk you.
And I'm going to go another one. I'll
Now,
give you one of mine.
Kenny with due cause, like, let's say,
With due cause?
all right, well, what if you simply said that there was a robbery and you kind of fit the description?
He could say that, but then I guess the person would be lying if it wasn't true, which would then make it invalid and thus against the Constitution. The other one that's completely against the Constitution
I know what you're going to.
is the roadblock.
Yeah.
You know it.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is against the Constitution. I look at it like this. If you took James Madison, he's a great example, and you brought him back to life today, and you said, hey, can you walk down, the guy's walking down the street, can you stop and frisk his person? There's no instance that he's going to say yes. You could say that he might have just killed someone, but you don't know it.
Yeah.
Should you be able to randomly stop the entire highway?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
And
if I'm driving 35 miles an hour home in a 35 mile an hour speed limit, and they happen to have one of those roadblocks set up
Yeah.
so that they can force me to take a breathalyzer,
Yeah.
when I wasn't going over the lines, I wasn't I wasn't
Right.
speeding, I wasn't going too slow. No, absolutely, they should not be able
No,
to do that.
to me that's unconstitutional. So I think that in your examples, it's going to be difficult for me to find that sheriff, because a lot of these police departments do this. And you know how the Supreme Court approved that? This is very interesting. They approved it based on the fact that it couldn't be arbitrary. So the citizens would have to be notified of it. So what they do is they put it in now on social media, but they used to put them in the newspaper. They would list it as an ad in the newspaper.
That-
Sobriety
what, this
checkpoint
Saturday? Oh, yeah.
this Saturday
Yeah.
on this road.
Yeah.
My issue is, and I think that
Did they say
Madison's
the
issue
time
may
frame
be,
too, like from 10
they may.
10 to 2?
I don't think they say the time. I don't think they say the time. I think Madison's issue on this, if I was to try to channel him just through the Federalist Papers, and the Federalist Papers are so key to understanding the Constitution, I think that he would be no go.
Yeah.
no-go on any of it. As a matter of fact, he would be no-go on, I think, most of those things. Search the Supreme Court decision that does not require the police to protect and serve the public. I believe it's a 2005 decision. There was a decision like that as well. When you get into this constitutional stuff, you start to blow people's minds. And what we'll do, and you know, it'd be a great show, would be to jump online and start to Google some of this stuff. See what comes up, where the sources are, how many sources
right.
agree, and actually do that together online with people and show them where some of these
Are you telling me I might have a laptop sitting over here at some point? Is that what you're telling me?
I think you might. I think you might have to. Don't. Does that old one work? What do you got there, by the way? I noticed you brought paper.
Oh, we don't have to get into this. This is just in case we got bored and
And you wanted to.
and we had a few minutes.
I
so-
mean, you
but I
know.
like where the conversation's going. We don't have to touch on this.
Did you know that Eric Holder says that he thinks former First Lady Michelle Obama was wrong in her signature line? When they go low, she said, "We go high," which I think is a pretty good line. Like her or not,
Yeah.
you know, people take the low road. You
We'll
take the high road.
Yeah.
That's where you're going to go. But Eric Holder, who was campaigning for Democrats in Georgia, told an audience that when they go low, we kick them. So Michelle always says, and this is his quote, Michelle always says, when they go low, we go high, Holder told the crowd. No, no. When they go low, we kick them. The comment drew applause and cheers and chants of fight from the crowd, supporting Stacey Abrams of Georgia for Georgia governor and several other Democrat candidates. He continued, though, saying he did not want people to actually kick Republicans. When I say we kick them, I don't mean we do anything inappropriate. We don't do anything illegal, but we have to be tough and we have to fight. A new Democratic Party, it's time to be as tough and dedicated as Republicans. I mean, Democrats, I'm going to tell you, there's some vile, vile people out there in that party. I mean, there are in the Republican Party as well. But
Sure.
the thing is in the Republican Party is you get these fringe Republicans. Well, you could even classify Trump as a fringe Republican. He's not even really a Republican, for crying out loud. He was a Democrat most of his life and helped Clinton get elected. I mean,
Right.
what the hell? But that's another day. But this just blows my mind. These aren't fringe people. These are people that have been high in government or are high in government that are dancing around inciting violence.
Oh, violence. Yeah, dancing around.
And
it
once he heard
completely.
that, you got to give him credit that he said that. But you know he said it because he had to say it. But you know what he means. But he means probably, I get it, okay, metaphorically. So when they're down, when they go low, we kick them. Meaning when they go low and they try to do this, we fight them down there in the trenches the way they would fight us. The funny thing though is that the Republicans have never said anything like that that I know of. I've never seen a quote. They're crazy. USA Today. Donald Trump. This is phenomenal news. Donald Trump blamed the central bank for a stock market sell-off Wednesday that was among the worst of his presidency. Now, it's very easy for him to want to blame somebody but himself because he just did all these things with trade deals, which absolutely did have an effect on the markets. Because don't forget, the markets respond to things. They very rarely drive things.
Right.
They respond to what happens. So if all of a sudden manufacturing comes back to America, it's crazy, it's strong, it's the best it's ever been, they will respond to that favorably. But when they're nervous and say, well, wait a minute, now what does that mean? What does that mean? Ford had a little problem with his trade deal, by the way.
Yes.
They did.
Yeah.
And that, to me, ain't cool because that's in America. What happened to
Yeah.
America first? But
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
think it was the auto industry in general. But
I'm amazed that he even had the guts to try to blame them, and he may be right. The Fed is a nasty thing, nasty entity. The Fed has gone crazy, Trump told reporters in Pennsylvania. I love that he said that. Those words coming out of a president's mouth, you have not seen probably since JFK. Something, that kind of sentiment about the Fed publicly. The Dow, it fell over 800 points, I think, today.
Yeah.
And the worst single decline since a 1,000 drop-off February 8th. Trump frequently touts growth in the stock market as a measure of the economy, but as markets tumbled, the White House embraced a broader view of growth. The fundamentalists and future of the U.S. economy remain incredibly strong, White House Press Secretary Sarah Sanders said in a statement. President Trump's economic policies are the reasons for these historic successes, and they have created a solid base for continued growth. I say, Donald, do something. Do something. If the Fed's out of control, do something. Talk is cheap. The Fed is a mess. If you think that there's a problem there, you said it in your campaign, then do something. I don't want to hear just talk, but that talk is very encouraging.
Sure.
I just don't know if he's trying to blame someone else or if he really believes that the Fed is
Out of control.
out of control. Because there's really no reason that they had to respond to anything. He's not wrong there. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
I don't know what to think.
Fed is out. They're crazy. I don't know what to think either. What do you think about Kavanaugh?
I thought more of him until I talked to you on the side.
Well, I mean, you know, I try not to sway. I try to give an opinion and see if people like it or they don't like it.
Right.
But he supports the NSA.
Yeah.
He does. He supports them, which means he supports all their abuses. He actually helped to get the whole Patriot Act and everything passed.
Right.
He was a key player in that. If you don't know the abuses, please Google it, or we can Google it on our Google show. We'll have a Google show.
We'll have a Google show.
I think that'll be fun.
Yeah,
we'll
we'll-
put it like
probably
right
kinda
here or
would be,
something, and
yeah.
we can.
People
you know,
could email Google little things that they
Yeah,
found as well.
yeah. I mean, I think that he never should have even been nominated. Just for that reason. He's not a
He's definitely
constitutionalist.
part of the swamp.
Sure, he is. He's been around. His mother was a judge. He's been. Let me ask you this.
It's not a swamp draining.
And I get it.
nomination.
You said to me, though, that shouldn't just make him bad. He shouldn't
Right.
be disqualified if
Right.
he's great and qualified just because his mother was a judge and all that. But it still brings you, it's almost like the cup of coffee theory. Because at some point, don't you have to say, how many years has it been since you and your family have had a paycheck from the private sector? I mean, if your whole life has been government, and your mother's life has been government.
Right.
And I haven't even looked yet any deeper into him. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't think he should have even been there. I just don't think he should have been there.
But we would agree that he's better than any nominee that Hillary would have put up if she was president.
Yes.
Do we agree on that?
Yes. I do agree on that.
So,
But I think that the
so
one
it's
that
a
Hillary
lesser-
would have...
It's a lesser of two evils. Then?
There we
Is that what
go.
we're talking
Right.
about?
Hence the James Madison Project.
Yeah.
Eventually, you got to say enough. Federalist 58 will be out tonight. Stay tuned. And those come from, if you're watching that, those come from Robert B. You go on the Freedom Network. He has been posting every single Federalist paper.
Right.
And he's been doing, I'm sure you've seen it. And the one tonight he wants us to read because it's going to be relevant to what we're talking about.
Okay.
So that's fantastic. Gotta love that instant interaction, don't you? People are chanting "lock her up" about Senator Feinstein. Did you see that?
Nope.
Well, they are. They said it about Hillary. They're doing it at Trump rallies.
Yeah.
Trump has said it about Hillary. He said it in the debate.
Right.
Because you'd be in jail. I don't know. Any action? No action. She ain't going to jail, folks. She ain't going to jail. Nor is this senator. She's not going to jail. This is the government class at work.
Yeah, I know.
They're not going to get any. They won't get a move on that. They just. I would love it. This is what I think. I knock a lot of things that go on in government, and I almost say to myself sometimes, "Gee, I hope I'm wrong about this." Wouldn't I love to come on the show and say, "Boy, I got to eat crow. I was 100% wrong. Donald Trump just audited the Fed, and the Justice Department just reopened the case into Hillary, and specifically X, Y, and Z, and they're bringing her to an actual court, not to a Congress.
Yeah.
Let's get into a courtroom." I would love it. I would say, "Boy, am I a fool today, huh? Yep, I got.
I
Yep.
thought never.
What
I thought
a
never.
what a great fight to lose.
Yeah.
We win. The people win. I was wrong. Hey, come on. Oh, I don't know. Trump signed 2 bills intended to keep drug prices low and transparent.
Okay.
I think this is fantastic.
Sounds good on
Emphasizing
the
the importance of keeping drugs affordable, Mr. Trump said, "Prescription drug prices are a bipartisan issue that Republicans and Democrats can agree on." Well, they can agree on a lot of things because, again, the bird, 2 wings, the body of the bird to me ain't so different. But he'll never get them all to agree on this. But he did sign the bills, so they did agree on it.
Right.
But what they did is he gave a rare nod to Democrats Wednesday, saying that not just Republicans but Democrats too care about lowering drug prices. If there's anything bipartisan, it's lowering drug prices. Prescription drug prices have continued to rise despite the president's pressure on drug companies. The two bills the president is signing, Know the Lowest Price Act and the Patient's Right to Know Act, are intended to curb that. They both aim to ban gag order clauses and contracts between pharmacies and insurance companies.
Nice.
In the past, Trump said that the drug companies are getting away with murder. He's 100% right on that. But if I know about it, that ain't going to make it cheaper.
Sure.
So basically, you're going to piss me off. Now you're going to really tell me, hey, you know what? But you know what? This is a step in the right direction. Just like I'm talking about the Fed is. I'd say today is a 66% good day for Trump, right? When I look at the quick news headlines. Excellent that he's talking about the Fed. It's excellent that he's talking about the medical industry. And I'm going.
Oh,
and
it's wrap-up time?
It's wrap-up time. And it's no good that they took it right out of my mind. They took it out of my mind.
That's all right. That happens to me all the time. Maybe that's the first sign of you getting close to being able to go to the early bird special.
Yeah. Yeah,
When
right.
things just slide out of your mind from one tap of the glass.
Well, you know, I could just say it's his Supreme Court nominee, but I had something else.
Right.
But- All right, we got to get going. We got the Northbridge politics
Oh,
Yeah.
the new show.
new show coming up right now, so
Right?
we got to
This
make
will be
room
the
for 'em.
second time. We're that
Yeah,
quick.
this will be the
Okay.
second time. We're gonna go because we got to make room for them. They got to change the whole set over and do all that kind of stuff. So.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Freedom is the best thing in the world. Make it ring. Do what you got to do to keep it going. I'm Gary. This is Jim. This has been the Freedom Network. We'll see you next week.
Because we are the brave. Yes, we are the brave. We'll fight you in name, the name of the brave. We are the U.S. of A.